Hi, I'm Wayne Cordero, president of New Hope Christian College, and today I want to give you a short taste of a course called the Ambidextrous Leader. In 1 Chronicles 12, it holds an amazing leadership insight. We're introduced to some of David's 30 mighty men. It's an elite fighting group that the Lord used to defeat thousands of enemy troops. Here are some of their amazing qualities. Let's take a moment to discover why God used these qualities to define them. And we read in 1 Chronicles 12, and I quote, "They were equipped with bows, using both the right hand and the left to sling stones and to shoot arrows from the bow, right and left. These were some of Saul's kinsmen from Benjamin." Now, these amazing warriors were ambidextrous fighters. They could shoot a bow with their right hand and with their left, and they could swing a sword with their right hand as well as their left. If one arm got injured or got tired, they just simply switched arms and defeated their enemy with their other hand. Well, what does all of this mean? God was simply saying that these were leaders that were hard to defeat. Can that be said of you? Or do you quit more often than not? Maybe not on the outside, but on the inside. Do you have quitting points that you need to break through and conquer? Or do you simply circumnavigate the tough parts? Do you just blame the inefficiency on someone else? Or do you take the blame courageously and move on and learn from it? Or do you just ignore the weak points altogether? Have you taken the time to develop the well-rounded function of leadership, or do you just get enamored with being in a position of leadership? It's always easier to start something than it is to finish it. And these 30 mighty men were sure to finish what they started. It's always easier to make a commitment than to find out only later that you don't have the capacity to follow through with that commitment. So commitment goes with capacity. What do these men do? What did they do that made them so treasured in Israel and by David? For one, they took the time and effort to develop their offhand. You'll hear much about certain business principles which encourage you just to find your strength, your comfort zone, and stay in it. That might work for business, but when it comes to defeating the enemy, you better learn to be an ambidextrous leader. Let me ask you, how good are you at signing your name with your offhand? I'm right-handed. Signing it with my left hand isn't quite as easy. I mean, you try it. If you're right-handed, sign with your left. And if you're left-handed, try signing with your right. It might resemble a child's first attempt to draw with a color crayon, but it will also serve to remind you how much more we have yet to develop in our own capacity. Did you know that you can learn to be ambidextrous? Absolutely. I've known some who have, not many mind you, but there are some that have done that. They are ambidextrous, just as qualified in both hands. The same is true when you think about developing your leadership. Let me give you an example. Some leaders are naturally task-oriented, which means getting the work done. That's your strong hand. But they're not very good at relationships along the way. That's their offhand. Now, others are the opposite. They're far better at being relationally oriented, that is, caring more about the people you work with than just getting a task done. And they're not so good at getting the task finished. Well, whatever is your strong hand, you'll focus on one task rather than the other, which is your offhand. Now, in this example, you have a strong bias towards either being people-oriented or task-oriented. But an ambidextrous leader is equally good at both. They are nearly 50-50 people and task. They're both right-handed and left-handed in this aspect of leadership. They can get things done, but they also know how to build camaraderie along the way. They excel in performance, but they're also very adept at building teams, collaboration, and giving people a sense of ownership among the troops. This course, The Ambidextrous Leader, will help you to take a look at how we could be maybe one of God's 30 mighty men and women as a leader. One of the few who are skilled and have been taking the time to develop their offhand. It'll be an amazing discovery. Join me and be twice the leader you ever thought you could be.